Well, I wanted to start off with a statement.
Yes.
It's funny that I don't want to say funny, but
But you already said it. Too late.
it is kind of funny to me now because
Yes.
I don't have these thoughts anymore. But when I was 16, I used to be suicidal. I was very
Yes.
suicidal. I was
All right.
diagnosed with it. I used to not even be able to talk about it without breaking down.
All right.
But obviously, as you can see right now, I don't have a problem with it.
Clearly, you have changed yourself.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I wanted to thank you because a big changing point in my life was when my friend back in 2013, he introduced me to your videos.
Yes.
I don't even remember how the conversation started. It was something about, oh, yeah, you know, this guy channels an alien and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. You know, let me check it out. And it obviously resonated with me.
Yes, obviously.
Yes. And ever since then, my third eye has been very, well, I don't know if between my eyes, I don't know if that's my pineal gland. Between
Yes.
Okay. So ever since then, that's when I started to really feel it active.
Yes.
And I came to the 3-day event, all 3 days, last time you were here,
Yes.
back in September. And October ended up being the best month of my life. And
All right.
I had this experience where I was acting on my passion at night. I usually work at night. I don't know if it's in my DNA where I stay up till about 8 a.m. when I'm really in my
Yes.
zone. I make music, beats. I'm a
Yes,
music
yes, yes.
producer. One night I just felt a pop in the back of my head. Like, I don't know how to...
Base of your skull,
Yes.
channeling chakra.
Okay.
Opening up to higher frequency energies so you can allow them to flow through you unrestricted, or at least more unrestricted than before.
Well, that sounds great. But yeah, ever since then, I feel it throughout the day, just
Yes.
tingling, and it
Well,
feels good.
now it's open.
I mean,
So energy will flow into it and you will get used to it. You will figure out how to apply it more. You will harmonize with it. But you've opened that gate.
as I said, October was my best month. I stopped overthinking. I'm a big baseball fan. The LA Dodgers were in the playoffs.
Oh, all right.
I literally traveled to every city that they played in.
Yeah.
The whole month.
Did you have fun?
It was amazing.
All right.
Best time of my life.
All right. Until now.
Yes.
Because now this is the best time of your life.
It really is. Because
And in the
I'm
next
exci-
moment,
I'm-
that will be the best time of your life. And the
Yes.
next moment after that, that will be the best time of your life.
Yes.
Yes? There is a saying on your planet that might be appropriate to share with you at this point. May the happiest days of your past be the saddest days of your future. That's what you're experiencing. More and more and more ecstatic joy, building and building and building and building. So that what seems like it can't get any better still gets better. And that never ends.
Wow.
Oh, well put.
I was very tired all of last month.
Yes.
Exhausted, actually.
Well, that's just because you're not used to the new energy yet, but you will get used to it, and then it will energize you. It will uplift you. Because it's not about, in a sense, making the energy work, it's allowing it to work and riding the energy wave so that you are left with energy instead of feeling like you have to expend energy to do it. That's just a shift in your definitions. That will change. Bless you.
Another thing I wanted to touch on, I once was watching one of your videos and
Yes.
you mentioned something about mirrors being parallel realities.
They
And
can be.
I've always been very interested in mirrors. We have a lot. I still live with my mom and dad, and for some reason they have a lot of mirrors in the house.
Yes.
Always have, and I don't know. It's just I feel like it has something.
Well, play with it. Play with it.
I meant to ask you. I know you've given a meditation for that before. I'm unaware of
Well,
it.
it's not really about a meditation exactly. The short form is simply to look at the reflection and understand you're not looking at a reflection. You're looking at another person that is almost identical to you in another parallel reality, as if you're actually looking through a window.
Is there any practical way I could use that to my benefit?
You'll find out when you set yourself up with that idea and start doing it.
There
Things will occur to you.
There was one exercise that I read about where you put a candle in front of the mirror and
That's a psychomantium. That's something slightly different.
yes, I meant that just reminded me when I do that I see different faces in the mirror.
Well, the psychomantium is specifically designed to allow you to begin to communicate with spirits.
Are those spirits not my own, obviously?
Spirits, not your own.
Okay,
yes.
so I thought I was looking at like past lives or other versions of myself.
Well, remember that everything exists simultaneously, and so in that sense, when I say not your own, I mean not the one that is specific to your personality.
But it's connected to my oversoul?
It can be, but it doesn't have to be. The psychomantium can allow you to engage with spirits that are or are not connected to you in the way that you have just stated it. But obviously the connection needs to be made. If they show up, there is a connection of some sort, just not always the one you may think. But explore it, experiment with it, see what happens, see what you get. That's the fun of it.
I have this problem where...
You have a what?
A problem.
You have a what?
A challenge.
Thank you. See, you've instantly changed it to something more fun.
Yes. Ever since I was young, I have the ability to unintentionally block out others when they're speaking to me.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yes, like that. Like right now when you're speaking to me, even though like I have been waiting to hear from you, I tuned out like just a little bit, and I'm just like...
Well, what's wrong with that? Maybe you need to listen to something else at that particular moment.
I always kind of looked at it as a problem or a challenge.
Why?
Well, I feel like I always, there's conversations where I'm having with someone and they'll be telling me a bunch of details. And
yes. All right. Well, it's up to you to determine whether or not you are simply boring yourself because you believe that there is nothing valuable in the information that they're giving you.
Isn't that a little rude, though?
Well, yes, you can do it in a rude way, but you don't have to. There are ways for you to say, please, forgive me, excuse me, one moment. I'm receiving something that I need to pay attention to. In no way, shape, or form am I discounting what you're saying, which I know is very valuable because you have come into my life to say it, and I know there must be a reason for that. But I think you have helped me get into a state where I am now more capable of receiving a different message from somewhere else. And so I must pay attention to that right now, meaning no disrespect. Thank you so much for helping me get into that state where I can now receive information that I might require at this particular moment. I know you'll understand. You see, there is always a way to handle it if you open up your imagination and understand what may be going on and know yourself to know what you're really doing, whether or not you really are being rude, or whether you really need to pay attention to something else. And there is always a gracious way for that to occur. If you are willing to know, you can be gracious. Yes?
Yes.
And therefore, not a problem.
One more thing. I don't want to take too much time.
Too late.
I have a hard time forgiving myself. How do I get better at that?
Well, what is preventing you from allowing yourself to do so? When you say, I have a hard time, that just means you're resistant to the idea, which means you don't think you deserve to forgive yourself. So what definition are you holding on to that says you don't deserve to be forgiven?
Well, I feel like the mistakes I've made are a little too...
egregious?
Yes.
All right, but have you learned from them? Obviously you have, or we wouldn't be having this conversation.
I definitely have learned from them.
Well, if you've learned from them, then what is there to forgive? You've used them in the way it was intended for you to use them. Mistakes are for you to learn from, so that you can recognize the difference between a path that does and doesn't work for you. Do you remember the story we told of Edison on your planet? Yes? No?
No.
Took him about 2,000 times to invent a light bulb that would work. Yes?
Yes.
Somebody asked him, how does it feel to have failed 2,000 times? He said, I didn't fail. I found 2,000 ways not to make a light bulb. Now no one else has to go down that path. I've walked down all those paths, and now no one else has to waste their time doing so. So that's been a service and a learning experience that helped me finally invent the light bulb. Nothing is wasted. So what's to forgive? Make sense?
Makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I forgive you.